Hey guys, it's Sarah Jane here from the 8-Week Cellulite Blaster, and today I'm interviewing Damian Donoghue from Superhealth. Today's topic for the webinar is how to increase your energy naturally without the use of stimulants. Welcome, Damian.
Thank you, Sarah.
How are you today?
Yeah, great, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to sharing some of my info with you, yourself and your people. So yeah, fire away.
Awesome. I want to go over a little bit about your history and how you got started. For those of you that don't know Damien, he now owns a detoxification and superfood business here in Perth. And I'll let you tell the rest of the story, Damien, like how you got started and stuff like that.
Excellent, thank you, Sarah. Okay, so my health journey began about 15 years ago. I found myself suffering with chronic fatigue. And I had visited doctors and naturopaths trying to find an answer, and I found myself with very little help from the medical system. They didn't actually understand chronic fatigue at the time. So for me then it was quite frustrating because you're feeling so run down, but you just wanted some answers. And that's when I decided it's time to research and it's time to take my health in my own hands. So I basically delved into researching health and detoxification. It was back when we had dial-up, so it was pretty slow back in those days, researching on the internet. But I learned a lot about eating clean food, the importance of organic food, and about cleaning the body out, because ultimately our body is building up a lot of chemicals due to our environment and the food we're eating, and it's slowing down all of the functions in our body. So what I got into was fasting, juice fasting, and different cleansing, superfoods and things like that, which eventually I totally turned my health around. Over an 8-year period, I totally rejuvenated myself and got myself to the stage where I am now, where I spend all my time trying to inspire others to reverse illness in their body, because the things that help cure chronic fatigue can help reverse all types of illness in the body.
Yeah, sure, that's awesome. So I just want to touch on you having chronic fatigue. So tell me a bit about like how you felt when you were in that situation, when you felt, but I don't know much about chronic fatigue, and I'm not sure if people out there do or could relate. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It was like go to bed at 8 o'clock, sleep for 12 hours, and it was quite a horrible feeling because you'd wake up and you feel like you haven't slept at all. So it was a very debilitating sort of feeling. Unable to exercise, like that was the last thing on my mind, because just getting out of bed was hard enough. But not only do you feel fatigued, you actually feel quite depressed. So if I look at myself now, I was in a state of depression at the same time, because when you can't do what you want to do, life can be pretty miserable. So it was a really run down, dependent on coffee and guarana, whatever sort of caffeine like tablets I could get my hands on, dependent on those. But it was something that took time, but as I rebuilt my body, I now don't use stimulants at all.
That's awesome. And what made you take the first step into your health and fitness journey that you've begun?
I think it was just hearing from a doctor that they actually didn't have an answer for me. You know, they didn't even have a magic medication that supposedly could help chronic fatigue. So that really hurt, to think that this is it. You know, it doesn't get any better from here. And that's when I thought, this can't be right. There's got to be ways. And I didn't know anything about health then, but as I delved into the research, more and more information surfaced to really inspire me then to think, wow, there is a way, you know, and it's up to the power within us to help ourselves in this day and age.
And when you went to the doctor and he didn't, did he prescribe anything like antidepressants or Valium for sleeping or anything like that?
No, there wasn't a medication as such that gave you more energy. You know, the traditional medications that give you energy are weight loss tablets and like your dexamphetamine for ADHD kids, that sort of thing. So they were the ones that would give you energy, but there would have been a weight loss perspective going on there. So it's not something they really had to offer for that that situation.
Yeah, so the doctor just said, on your way, we don't have anything for you, and then did that make you want to research more about your chronic fatigue?
It sure did. It empowered me in a big way.
Yeah, that's good. And where did you start researching? Like, how did you start?
It was just picking up books on detoxification, organic food. Just as you start reading one, you're led to the other. All of a sudden it's saying, you know, don't eat red meat. And I was like, I was living off red meat, you know. But the more and more you read, they say you want energy, you want vitality, put on high energy foods. And, you know, we've been led to believe that red meat increases energy. But in my experience, it does totally the opposite.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And what was the first thing you tried after you researched things? Like, what kind of stuff did you try?
First thing I did was bought myself a juicing machine, so I started juicing fruits and vegetables, and from there on, then I started on different supplements, and a lot of them were synthetic originally. I was taking a lot of synthetic vitamins because I didn't know the difference. But as I got educated, I realised I wanted to look for whole food supplements, and that's when I got into superfoods, powders and algae and grasses and all these different superfoods and started putting them into my body.
Awesome, cool. And for anyone that's suffering with chronic fatigue, what would you say, like what would be the one tip that you would give them?
I think it's very important to get a high level of vegetative proteins and plant-based foods into the body because you've got a lot more fibre in there, and as that fibre passes through the body, it helps eliminate toxins. Now, for our body to be run down, a lot of the time we're overburdened with chemicals. So by increasing plant-based foods, more fibre, more elimination, we eliminate chemicals more easily. So I think that would be the starting point.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. And during the week, I put up a post about that I'm interviewing you and had a few questions come through. So you good to answer them?
Definitely. Let's go for it.
Okay. What are your thoughts and tips for losing weight naturally?
Losing weight naturally. So my opinion on weight gain is genetics in place there, but one of the biggest things is what we put in this hole right here, our mouth. It's the things that's passing through our lips ultimately is going to contribute to ill health and affect us more than anything else in our environment. There's chemicals in the air, there's car fumes, there's toxins everywhere, but ultimately it's what's passing through our mouth that's going to have the biggest impact. So we're looking at refined carbohydrates, hydrogenated fats, all these processed foods are definitely having a big impact. So obviously we're getting rid of them, getting on the fruit and vegetable, high vegetative diet, reducing the animal proteins as our basis. Animal proteins are very acidic, so if you think of what acid does when you're acidic, you tend to retain fluid. You can be more puffy and feeling more carrying more liquid on your body. So by alkalizing, getting more greens, your body will eliminate fluid better. So you're not going to retain all this fluid. So alkalizing is very important. I really feel like, from my experience, people are eating out of a necessity for nutrients. People whose bodies naturally, they will fuel their body with nutrients, and what they're doing, the food in front of them, or the food that's available to us, actually has very little nutrition in it. So if we eat something and there's not much nutrition, what's going to happen in half an hour later? We're going to be hungry again. Not hungry for calories, hungry for nutrition. And I see it a lot now. People eat, they tell me they snack all day long. It's their body saying, feed me. Yet when we make up a superfood smoothie and put someone on that for a week, all of a sudden they say my hunger is gone. Because we're getting such a high level of nutrition in that drink, it's lifting their body up. And we're not requiring this constant feeding the face. So I personally feel that it's a lack of nutrition in there. If we can get high nutrient-dense foods in, we're actually going to not be as hungry as often. And it's not about suppressing the appetite, It's just about giving the body what it needs to function.
Yeah.
So ultimately, if we can focus on different superfoods, we'll talk a bit about superfoods today, a product that I developed to make it easy for people to get nutrition into their body. Then this can really help with weight loss, because we know exercise is great. We know cutting out refined carbohydrates and refined fats is great, but what about the nutrition? You know, we don't want to just settle for a multivitamin. We want to look at how can we get high level of nutrition through plants, through superfoods, through herbs. How can we get that nutrition into our body every day? And, you know, that's what we're going to discuss today, is ways to do that at home or in the office.
For sure. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, when I first met you, I was on bodybuilding diet, eating 5 times a day, the meat and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I classified as nutrients. And now I'll make a smoothie and I won't need to eat till about 1 o'clock or something. So, I mean, it's just, it's a scientific fact, you know, like all those nutrients is what the body needs, and you can find that out just by doing a smoothie and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's really good. So,
Absolutely.
getting more nutrients into the body is pretty number one. So what are your feelings on cellulite?
Cellulite. So cellulite is an accumulation of toxins. And once again, we're looking at the pollution and the chemicals going into the body. So if we're eating food, we're using skin products, we're breathing car fumes, we've got accumulation of chemicals. Now, in the human body, we've got a liver, which is our filter. Now, this filters our blood. So any chemicals that are ingested on our food is getting filtered from this organ in here. Now, as that filter fills up, the body starts to feel overburdened, we can feel sluggish, we can gain weight more. So, you know, cellulite is deposits of toxins. So if this filter is not being able to eliminate as much as the chemicals that are going in on a regular basis, it's got to go somewhere, and the body will store it in different fatty tissue. And, you know, on the thighs, around the legs, it's very, very obvious for a lot of women. You can see the toxic build-up there in those areas, the dimpled skin and the chemicals that are building up in the body. Now, this has a lot to do with xenoestrogen. Now, that is a class of chemicals that comes from plastics. It's a class of chemicals that come from pesticides. Now, we're all exposed to plastics, and at some stage we all ate conventional food with chemicals on it. So we do have an accumulation of this class of chemicals. Xenoestrogens, I would say, is one of the main causes for hormonal imbalances in men and women, and it's a lot more apparent in women because they are more hormonal by nature. So with this cellulite, it's a lot to do with xenoestrogen toxicity, and it's not something you can just go and get someone rub your leg and these chemicals leave the body. You know, we have to be smart, and that's what I'm into, is educating people on ways to stimulate their detox system so that they can eliminate xenoestrogens. So ultimately, we will reduce these levels of cellulite or weight gain in the body. So I truly believe that a lot of cleansing is needed, as much as good exercise as well, because we've got to get the blood flow, get the body moving. So cellulite is something we can reduce, but it just takes time, and we have to be smart. We've got to be strategic about the way we do it.
Yeah. And I tell my girls, like, just start from small. Like, it's so overwhelming, like, if people come to your talks and stuff like that and they think, oh, I've got to change everything overnight, but it just starts with changing little things such as changing your drink bottle to a glass, and make sure you're drinking out of glass all the time. Something simple like that. And then go and change all your plastic stuff in your pantry to glass as well, and then just start there. And I've got some of your products on my program as well, which I recommend people trying, which is the cell stabilizer, which is stabilizing the hormones, and the estro block. Don't know if you want to touch on them quickly, just to give them a rundown. Yep.
Yep, so estro block is basically an extract from cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, and what that does is that as it enters the body, it helps to fast track these xenoestrogens and a lot of these chemicals out of the body, causing cellulite, causing the weight gain around the midsection, causing the sort of tender lumps in women's breasts, these sorts of things, hormonal imbalances, they're all linked to xenoestrogen. So estroblock will help fast track that out of the body, because a lot of people's bodies are just storing it and not eliminating it. And that's what you and I are out to do now, is educate people. How can we help the body to eliminate these chemicals? So estroblock's great for that. And then the cell stabilizer, which is now they're changing the name to Live Detox. It actually really facilitates the liver to detoxify these chemicals and to stop excess estrogens being formed in the body.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And yeah, would the pill contribute to that as well, the xenoestrogens?
Yeah, so the pill, because it is a synthetic estrogen, it will add more estrogen metabolites in there, which are like xenoestrogens and have that same effect. So yes, any contraceptive, any contraceptive has been shown to accumulate these certain chemicals in the body and make the situations worse. And we've seen that a lot with hormonal acne. The doctor will put you on the pill to clear it up.
I can vouch for that. I've been on it 10 years and nothing, so...
Yes. And so really this is ultimately maybe making things improve slightly now, but long term it's actually adding to that toxic problem. It's adding more and more chemicals to the body.
Yeah, definitely. And that Implanon as well, like so many people are on that now and getting ovarian cysts and stuff like that. So that's also accumulation of too much estrogen.
For sure.
Okay, next question. What tips did you have for anti-aging?
Anti-aging, okay, that's a favourite area of mine. After I regained my energy, I really started to get interested in ways that I can stay young. And I know it's a very interesting topic, especially for women. They want to know how to stay young. So I'll give you a bit of a brief on that. And this will actually all tie into the weight loss, the cellulite, and staying young. All ties into our daily smoothie that we get into. That's something that will support all these areas. So to stay young, we've got to reduce things that are going to speed up our aging process. Now, one of them we know is chemicals, toxins, because as they build up in the body, they slow down the function of the body. So if we're slowing it down, ultimately it's going to affect your body's ability to rejuvenate. So the body is designed to rejuvenate and renew all its cells, but if the body's full of chemicals and doesn't have enough nutrition, then all of a sudden the body can't repair itself as rapidly as we'd like it to. So cleansing the body is crucial. As we eliminate chemicals, the body will function better. Flooding the body with good source of nutrition, especially a lot of this plant nutrition that we're talking about, will really help the body to rejuvenate. And another one is enzymes. Enzymes are really good at reducing inflammation and helping the body to renew itself. So where do we get enzymes? Live enzymes. We get them from fresh fruits and vegetables. So if we've got an apple that's been stored in cool rooms for up to a year or 2 years' time, or whatever the crazy time they store stuff for, a lot of that apple will be oxidised, a lot of the enzymes will be broken down, and it's not very beneficial, not to mention the chemicals they put on the food. So looking for fresh food, eating with the season, with organic foods, you eat what's available. It's either apples or it's stone fruit, it's citrus, stone fruit, this sort of thing. And we're moving them around with the seasons, and it's getting fresh food, because if we can get them fresh, it's being picked, within a few days, we're getting a lot more enzymes. And without cooking that food, we're going to get even more enzymes in there, because the minute we heat it, we break it down. So we're eating fresh food, salads, vegetables, carrot sticks, celery sticks, all these things we can munch on. It's going to give us a lot of enzymes, a lot of fibre to help us eliminate chemicals, and that's really going to help the body rejuvenate. And then to really get technical, we start looking at different plant extracts. So there's a lot of extracts in nature that will help the body to heal faster.
Yeah.
So for us to stay young, we really want to be putting these plant extracts that are associated with rejuvenating and keeping the free radicals down. So adding this high level of nutrition is very important. And ultimately that's going to help slow the aging down. The other thing is exercising, but not over-exercising. Because fitness is one thing, but overtraining is another. Overtraining will start to break the body down.
Yeah.
But if we can do a happy level of training, not too long, we're getting more oxygen, we're rejuvenating body blood flow, we're helping repair. So it's getting our training right as well. So I would say they are some of the areas that really are going to help keep it going. There's another one I'd like to mention. This is one mineral, for example, is silica. I use silica myself. I've got a product on my website that I love and use myself. And this silica alone, you know, I've seen a woman with a lot of stretch marks on her belly, and you know, we've given her silica over a 2-week period. All of a sudden, this loose skin has started to come together and tighten up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is one mineral. You know, it's amazing that the deficiency of one mineral can do so much for us. And you know, ultimately, when you get pregnant and you stretch, your skin should stretch back and not have stretch marks all over the body. But if your connective tissue in your skin is very weak, then it's going to stretch and it's not going to come back. And so silica plays a very important role here for giving that skin elasticity, so it can stretch and stretch back and keep the body looking fresh and young.
Awesome, cool. And I guess that ties into my next question, which is, why is organic or home food so beneficial? Homegrown food, sorry.
Homegrown, okay. So understanding organic food and homegrown food. Well, to start off with, we've got conventional food and then we've got organic food. Now, conventional food is food that's grown with chemicals, synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, genetically modified organisms. There's all kinds of things going on here, which a little bit of research on the internet will start to lead you down the path to understand these things are not good for us. It doesn't matter how many people come up and say, oh, it's safe, it's in small amounts, like they accumulate in the body. So this conventional food is fruits, vegetables, things that were grown in its normal state, but man's intervened and used all his chemicals to keep bugs away. Well, we need bugs. You know, bugs work in harmony with each other, and this excessive spraying that's going on is really leading us down the wrong track. So looking at organic food's like our parents or our grandparents used to grow. They would put a seed in the ground, they'd water it, and they'd watch it grow. They'd pick off a cabbage moth or whatever, the caterpillars, pick them off, and they'd let them grow.
Yeah.
That's how growing food went. Sometimes the grub will eat one of the leaves, this sort of thing, but it just grew. It didn't get sprayed and doused and stuff put on the soil. They didn't have these chemicals. Now these chemicals are ones that are directly linked to weight gain, cellulite, autism, cancer, all these different diseases in the body. You know, there's a lot of research saying now how toxic these chemicals are. So eating this clean organic food is very important. Now, a lot of people say they can't afford it. Well, let's look at ways you can grow it in your backyard, because ultimately what we put in our mouth should be one of the most important things in your week. Whatever it is that you're doing, that should be one of the leaders, because that is fuel to run this vehicle that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, we're like a performance vehicle. You don't rock into the petrol station with a Ferrari and put in the unleaded 91. We're looking for the BP Ultimate. We want the best fuel possible for that car. Well, it's the same as the human body. We want to get the best fuel possible so that we can perform at our best. So, you know, looking at organic food and homegrown food, ultimately we're reducing all those chemicals. And then the food is fresh and alive and it can do what it's designed to do, which is help the body heal itself. So by doing this in clean food, you're eliminating all these chemicals that have been sprayed on foods in the supermarkets.
Awesome, cool. And I just want to touch a bit on mindset, and like mindset's pretty big for me. Like people they could have the energy from the food, they could have the fitness, but if they don't have the mindset with them at the same time, then it's a bit, you kind of like need three things. So how were you feeling when you went from chronic fatigue and now you're an inspirational speaker? What was your mindset that you had to transform in to kind of transform into your new life and your new identity and stuff like that?
Okay. I was lucky because when I started suffering and started researching health and detoxification, I actually started researching about positive affirmations and thinking and being in a positive way to attract more of that in your life. And I got a lot into Louise Hay, and she's got several books. You Can Heal Your Life is one of them, where she speaks about affirmations and actually affirming, you know, I have abundant energy. Today I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have the most amazing day ever, you know, and this is setting yourself up for the day. And I would say that had one of the biggest impacts on my health and vitality now, is getting that mindset of I'm going to succeed today. You know, I may have had chronic fatigue, but it's like I'm going to find an answer. And that was my goal. It's like a heat-seeking missile. It's going for its target. For me, I couldn't afford organic food. You know, I bought my first few organic things and just about broke the bank. But I knew that that had to be my life from now on. Organic food was going to be me. And so I set this goal of I always eat the most amazing organic food. And now you come over for dinner, you know that my house is full of organic food. We're not going to eat conventional food because that's the life I live now. But I set that goal for myself a long time ago. So I think it's very important to have that mindset, to have affirmations, especially when you're exercising. It's like every day in every way I get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And you can push that into a step or whatever it may be. The same as health. Every day in every way I get healthier and healthier, you know, every smoothie I drink, every piece of organic food. So, yeah, the mindset I think is very important, having that positive, affirmative mindset to really set you up for success on all levels.
Yeah, sure. Cool, awesome. What would be your top tips for getting energy now without supplements? Because I know that a lot of people come to you, they're run down, and you recommend the Revive product, and then in a week they're turning around and saying, oh my god, I've got so much energy, I'm not eating as much. Like you said, like lots of people snack and then you get them on the Revive and then they just got abundant energy. What would be your top tips for getting energy?
Okay, so as we've discussed in those other areas for the weight loss, for the anti-aging, for cellulite reduction, it's all about detoxifying the body, getting the chemicals out, and then bringing the good things back into the body. So what I found is I started consulting with people on helping them on their health journey, and I'd say, oh, okay, you want more energy, you want to lose weight. Before long, we had all these different superfood powders and products in front of me, and I'd send them home with an armful of this stuff, and I like this, and it'd come to $300 or something like that, and people just like didn't know what to do with it all. So that's when I created a product I've got which are here, Revive, which this is a superfood powder. So what I did was I went and researched all the most potent superfoods from around the world that different cultures had been using for hundreds, if not thousands of years in their culture. Now, some of these foods are highly renowned for their energy enhancing, vitality enhancing, just overall boosting the body. That was some of the properties and keeping their immune system strong. So I started to use these different superfoods myself, but then I put them together in this product, which ultimately made things easy for me and for my clients, because I could give them a jar of that and say, go home, add this to juice, water, or put it in a smoothie and drink it down daily. And then interesting things happen. People would come back within a couple of days and say, I've got more energy now than I've ever had. You know, and these are people that are dependent on coffee or using whatever stimulants, and they're drinking these superfoods, and all of a sudden it's non-stimulating. They've got these plant-based nutrients going to the body, and they're switching them on. And you know, very quickly we learned that this is what people are missing in their diet. You know, is good nutrition. So for a weight loss tip, I'd be looking at getting onto some sort of superfoods. With the Revive, we make it really simple and blend it up with some berries, water, and we add the Revive in, and just get people to drink that daily. Now, by doing that daily, you're really going to help your body lose weight more easily.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have more energy, you're going to crave less food because you're getting all this nutrition, and your overall well-being is going to be lifted on this. Now, if you feel good, you know what it's like. The day you wake up and you feel good, you're happy, you want to change the world. You'll go clean the house, you'll do this, you'll do that, because you're inspired. You feel good. And ultimately, that is my goal, is to get everyone feeling good as quick as possible, because then I know they'll get fit, they'll lose weight, they'll eat better, they'll drive the extra mile to get organic food, they'll do whatever it takes to live well. So for me, that's the great tool now. And one of my number one tips would be to use a superfood powder, if not Revive, something else like that, to help you get that spark back in your life. So that would be the first thing. Drinking water is very important. You want to flush the body, lots of water, and lots of fibre. So the more fibre, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, plenty of fibre, helps you eliminate more. That's very important as well. And the exercise, of course, getting the body to move. We need to take oxygen in to energise the body and to detoxify. And it's increasing blood flow. So all these nutrients that you're getting in a smoothie are actually circulating around and going to all areas of the body. That's what exercise will help do. It will help get those nutrients further.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my top tip for helping with weight loss and vitality.
Yeah, I've got the Kickstarter smoothie on my website for the girls that are starting. So start on that every morning. It's blueberries, the Revive powder, goji berries, and I know you have two other products that I use with the Mega Hydrate and the Phytoplankton. Do you have them with you to show them? Or?
I do, yes. I can briefly go over them if you like. So for everyone at home there, this is our natural energy booster. It's really good for the brain, mental clarity, but it's not a stimulant. So what we do with this is it's a microalgae. So this is what the whales eat when they're swimming along in the ocean. They're collecting all the phytoplankton. Okay? And it's a microalgae. It's very small green algae in the ocean. Now in this form, it's been very highly purified. It's concentrated in ocean water. What we do is take a spoon of this under the tongue. And as you know, Sarah, it's quite an interesting taste. It's quite salty and seaweedy tasting. But one of the first things you feel is this like mental clarity. The brain feels a bit more switched on. You're a bit more alert. You know, people love it in the afternoon when they're feeling sluggish. But like I've been a big fan of, and I know that you've used it quite often as well, before your workout. We have a squirt, energy, mental clarity before the train. Very important. So this is delivering nutrients at that cellular level. So normally we eat food, it goes down and it has to be digested for us to absorb the nutrition. But this one, you drop it under the tongue, the nutrients go straight into the bloodstream. And we feel that quite quickly. That's why within a few minutes people are like, wow, I feel good off that. So it's delivering nutrients at a cellular level. That's one of my most popular ones. And we use that in conjunction with the Mega Hydrate. Now, I know you use Mega Hydrate a lot. For me, I found it's really good for improving muscle recovery. It's alkalizing on the body, so it's helping to lift that energy, reduce that fluidy feeling as we get more alkaline, but helps with energy production. So when you're getting this one and you're drinking down with water, now one thing it'll do is it'll help water to work at a cellular level. So it'll help water transport nutrients into your cells. But you drink water with this, you actually will get hydrated a lot more efficiently. But when we take this and this, just before we go to the gym, boom, we've got this nice energy lift. We've got more recovery, we feel more alive. And what we do is put that all together in a smoothie. So what I'd recommend is for people at home, you'll have the Kickstart smoothie recipe. Basically taking a cup of blueberries, putting it in your blender. You're getting water, 500 ml water in your blender. Then we get the goji berries. So goji berries go in, we put about a tablespoon of those. We blend that, and then at the end we add the Revive powder. It's all these superfoods, 26 different superfoods in here. Algae, grasses, berries, all these crazy things that we would never eat normally. But in this powder, you throw it in with the berries. On its own, tastes horrible. But the minute you put it in with this fruit, it tastes good. You know, it's a way of getting down. And as you know, you start drinking this, and your vitality goes through the roof, your energy, your mental clarity.
Yeah.
And I know even when I met you, like you say, you're eating all this meat and things like that, but once you started using these products, I noticed you're already a very fit person, but you just leaned out that little bit more, that little bit extra fluid that was there, you leaned out, and I noticed that. And I think that would be really useful for a lot of people at home, because ultimately we want to get in that state fast. It's like, how can we get on this stuff that trims us down, keeps us lean, healthy, rejuvenates the body, and helps to detoxify all these chemicals. And that smoothie will do it. And so we've got a special today on that pack specifically. If people are wanting to try that, from our website, which you will provide a link to the website, and we're giving 2% off. So that pack retails $207, and with your the discount code that you're going to give to all your people, it'll get it down to 167. So it's, you know, it's a $40 saving there. So it's a good time for people to try this, get on these products, feel amazing. If you have any questions about individual products, people can post underneath here any questions. But yeah, I'd really recommend people try that. If you really want to just do one simple thing, which is put together this smoothie each day, away you go. And even if the 4 products are too much, you can just go for a Revive. You can put your code in and get a discount on that, and just start with Revive and throw that in water or a smoothie. So yeah, that's the deal we've got on today for people who are keen to get into this and feel good now.
Yeah. I also know that you said that you just can do the offer for 24 hours, but I think I might post this up on Facebook, this webinar, for people that couldn't make it today. And would you be able to do it for a week long, the code? Yeah?
Yeah, we can do that for a 7-day period for sure.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And just touching on the Revive, I find like when I have a cold, I'll have like a teaspoon every 2 hours. And my cold's gone in 2 days, like it's that potent. And what's the other ingredients that you have in it? So you got Kakadu plum, Kakadu plum's the highest vitamin C in.
Yes, it's the highest vitamin C in the world. Yeah. I can go over some of the ingredients. So what we've got in here is algae. So you've got things like spirulina, chlorella. We've also got some of the phytoplankton in a powder form in here. So they're all really good, high sources of protein, but alkalizing in the body. We've got grasses, so you've got the wheatgrass, barley grass, all very alkalizing in the body, full of minerals. The Kakadu plum, as you mentioned, which is a native food to Australia, Northern Australia, highest source of vitamin C of any food in the world. So instead of us taking a synthetic vitamin C now, you know, we're taking it in a natural form, in a plant-based form, powdered, and putting into our smoothies. Now there's also the acai berry, the maqui berry, very high antioxidant. Antioxidants keep us young, right? It's the same as the mega hydrate, a very high antioxidant, anti-aging. That's what keeps us young. We've got maca root in there. Maca root is really good for endurance and stamina. It's good for enhancing libido, and it's great for modulating your hormones, so helping bring the hormones back into balance. We've got medicinal mushrooms in there, which is like this red, that's reishi. Now, medicinal mushrooms are very different from a button mushroom. These mushrooms are very popular in China and have been used for thousands of years, not only in China but around the world, for helping reduce sickness in the body. So it's very popular these days with the use of cancer. People are using mushroom extracts to help boost the immune system. And it actually will help modulate. So if your immune system's underactive, it'll pick it up. If it's overactive, it'll bring it back down. So it's really good for the adrenal system. So when people are drinking lots of coffee, they're overworked, they're burnt out, the medicinal mushrooms are going to help support that. So we've got this whole combination of all these different superfoods that are really working together at increasing our overall vitality.
That's awesome. And before I met you, I was smashing all the pre-workouts. I mean, it's good, but then you just run yourself down, you run your adrenals, you burn yourself out, and you're not getting the right nutrients, and then you're not sleeping right. So it's just a recipe for disaster, really. Whereas now, with the Phytoplankton and the Mega Hydrate, you know that you're doing something good for your body, and it's natural, and you're getting energy, as well as if you do the smoothie, change your lifestyle, and you just feel great and sleep better, and you're not as burnt out. Like, it nourishes your adrenals more so than burning them out. It does the opposite, so it's really good products.
Definitely, I totally agree. And you know, I watch a lot of people in the gym totally wired on these pre-workouts, you know, and I feel sorry for their organ system. I'm like, oh, their poor little bodies, like, they will burn out eventually. And you're right, what we're doing here is supporting the adrenal system rather than getting it and twisting every last bit of energy out of it. So once again, that's keeping us young. If our adrenal system's in overdrive, we're just going to age faster. Whereas if we can tonify it and bring it back into balance, we will stay younger longer.
For sure, yeah. Okay, before we wrap up, I just want to do a quick 5. So it's 5 little questions, just a quick answer that I ask you. What's your favourite food?
Favourite food is vegan pizza.
Yeah. Favourite thing to do on your days off?
I actually really get excited about researching health technologies, new plant extracts, reversing disease. Yeah, even though it's not really a pastime, it really excites me, and I find myself doing that all the time. However, a nice walk in the rainforest would probably be a great pastime on top of the research.
Yeah. Favourite holiday destination?
Holiday destination, tropical area, Bali, Ubud's very beautiful, enjoy that. So, yeah, somewhere like that with the tropical, lush green, rainforesty feel.
Yep. Favourite brand?
Brand?
Yep.
Of what? Brand in general?
Yep.
In any field?
Yep.
Favourite brand? Now you've got me. I'm not sure of that one.
Like
We like
foods or anything?
clothes. Okay. I like in clothes, for example, I like the brand G-Star, and one of the things I like about them guys is they are introducing and slowly infusing organic cottons into their range. So they're quite unique with their styling, like using organic cotton, slowly introducing that, which I think is great. So I'd have to give them a thumbs up.
Okay. And favourite piece of fruit?
favourite piece of fruit would be a mango. Mangoes are absolutely amazing.
Okay, cool. And if anyone's got any questions or queries in regards to you, what's the best way to contact you?
So you can contact me via email, which you could put down the bottom, or on Facebook. Actually, Facebook Messenger is probably one of the better ways. So you can message me through my private page, Damian Donoghue, or the Superhealth page. Either of those, or posting questions below this webinar, and I can answer them from there.
Okay, cool. Do you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I'd just like to say to everybody out there that's starting this journey is, you know, I eat all this organic food and amazing superfoods and living this, you know, really holistic life. Understand one thing, and this is what I'll say to people at my talks when I'm lecturing on health. It took me 15 years to get here. You know, I was eating a lot of meat, dairy, and a lot of conventional food, takeaway foods, everything. So it took me 15 years. So don't be hard on yourself and move forward fearlessly. Like strive for excellence and only give yourself the best, because ultimately you deserve the best. We all deserve the best for ourselves. So set a goal to live a better quality life and strive forward fearlessly to get that. Do whatever it takes to eat clean food, to grow it, to eat it, to buy it, whatever it takes. But just understand, my fridge started off with maybe 5 organic products in it, you know, and now I'm surrounded by it in my pantry, my fridge, my cupboards, everything is organic. So this was a 15-year transition. So whatever steps you take, give yourself a pat on the back, because you are taking a step to improve the quality of your life. And when you get there, I promise you this, you will never go back. You will never want to go back to living and existing in an average life where you feel average. An average body doing average things. All of a sudden things shift for you, you feel amazing, you want to move forward, you find the job that really makes you happy, you find a relationship, and everything that supports your lifestyle. So move forward and don't look back with any regrets.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone the other day. They were like, "Oh, I hate when I go to the shop, like Woolworths and that. It's so busy on a Saturday." And like when I used to shop at Woolies, I just remember I was so stressed. Like everyone's like there the same time. Even if you go during the week, they've got their shopping. They're in a rush. The checkout chick hates her job. It's such a bad environment. And now when I go to the organic shop, they know me by my first name. They know what I'm going to get. They help me out. They know what products. I can ask, like, there's naturopaths there, and I always ask them, like, what, you know, if I've got different problems and stuff, what can I do naturally for this? And it's such a relaxed environment. You take your time. You go there on the weekend. You make a day of it. Or at your markets, Subiaco farmers markets, like, people just, they come out there, they know you, you know them, and it's just a totally different vibe. And like you said, you can't go back. You can't go back to Woolies
Yeah.
and, you know, get rushed around and have that vibe. So it's a real lifestyle, I think. Like everybody's
Yeah.
into it and helping each other. And when people are on the organic path, they're willing to help you out, you know, at the same time, and they're on your level as well. So yeah, it's really good lifestyle.
And I totally agree with you. You know, we are virtually hippies. We are executive hippies because we're living that connected life, respecting everyone around us, respecting the earth. We're just more the modern day hippie now. And it's exactly like you say, a visit to the farmer's market would be one of my pastimes as well, because going out there on a Saturday or a Sunday morning, connecting with like-minded people, getting the whole community feel, the farmers just growing your food. If you have a coffee or something, you're having it as a treat, an organic coffee on a Saturday morning. It's not this daily ritual of, I need a coffee to get by, to walk through like soldiers through the checkout to do my shopping and go to work. It's a total shift, a paradigm shift. So I totally agree with you, and that's really the message I think both of us want to get across to people at home is change your lifestyle one product, one piece of food, one day at a time, because when you get there, it is amazing. And, you know, it starts at the organic shop where you're respected as a human being. You're not just a number coming through the till. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah. And how did you find when you were moving towards the organic lifestyle, like your social group of friends and that? How did you come to where you are now, where you're surrounded by people that are exactly the same as you on the exact same path, organic, conscious, wanting to be abundant, positive mindset? Like, how did you go from that change?
I was the freak of the group. Rocking up with, it was weird food back then, but I'd have weird soy sausages and things like that, rock up to the barbecue with my mates. So you could tell I was a bit of the entertainment for the night. So it was challenging, and people are always going to challenge you. You know, you'd be drinking out of a bottle of green pond sludge, which people look at it, you know, but it's just got Revive and all these food foods in there. You'd be drinking that and people are like, man, what is that, you know? But like we say, once you go there, you never go back. And back in the day, it was hard. It was challenging. People would always, oh, why are you doing this? And why are you doing that? And it got easier with time because as you get more educated, you can actually stand your ground and explain why you're doing it. Now that I'm well educated around health, it's all free sailing for me, smooth sailing, because people can't actually challenge what I do because I know a lot more about it than what they do. So it's actually quite easy for me now. But initially, it is a challenge, and the social group shifts massively. Like, I still am in contact with a lot of my friends and relatives that I love and care about, but we don't hang out socially anymore. And that's probably one of the biggest shifts is your social group. Instead of this group that we're very uh, functioning on a different frequency, let's say, now you've got these people all resonating together, and eating good food is our priority. Thinking positive is our priority. Creating a life of abundance is our priority. And, you know, surround yourself with people that you want to be like, you know. So it is a slow transition, but feel free to let those people go and attract new friends, because you will in this lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that once you start making changes and becoming more aware of what's going in your body, and a lot of people start questioning why there actually are numbers in my food, why are there numbers on the packet for the ingredients? Like, numbers are not an
Yeah.
ingredient, you know what I mean? When you start eating whole foods and stuff like that, and actually waking up, then you actually have to change your identity in a way. Like, you have to say, I no longer eat food out of a packet, or I no longer eat, have water out of plastic, you know. So you're kind of making a pretty big transition, and I no longer think negatively. So it's pretty hard when you start, but I think, like you said, when you start creating that new identity and you make a stand and go, no, this is no longer who I am, you attract who you want to attract, sort of thing. And it's weird the way it works, but that's, you know, start hanging around different people and maybe start going to the gym and talking to people differently and telling them what you do and stuff like that. So yeah, that's really good.
Right. I totally agree, and you know there will be a massive shift. And as simple as the gym now, you know the gym's an area that I love being at because I love the fitness now, and the people we train with. It's great. Where back in the day it was a real mission to go to the gym. You know, but as you increase your vitality, everything gets easier to the stage where it's like I love exercising. So yeah, I totally agree. All these additives and things in the food, it's horrible, and it is something you start to phase out of your life because you have decided that you want a better quality life from now on.
Sure. Yeah. And how did you start with the exercise with when you had chronic fatigue?
Very lightly, I started doing weight training in the gym. I'd even joined a kickboxing school, and I struggled with it, but I just did my best I could, and I just found to go easy. You know, don't have um, these restrictions of, oh, you have to train for so long, you know, and being so hard on myself. It was like, just go, exercise, and then come home. Like, just keep it fun. If 15 minutes is fun, let it be 15 minutes. Work towards it being half an hour in 6 months' time, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what really worked for me. It was just going slow, being gentle with myself, but continually striving for excellence.
Yeah. And I think if you put that in your diary, like, okay, I'm going to the gym. Like, if you've already made it there, that's so good. That's such an achievement. Like, coming from chronic fatigue to actually making it to the gym. Like, I know as a
Yeah,
female, the gym is very intimidating, and I'm not sure if you felt the same way, but to actually make it to the gym and then do a training session, that's a really big step. And then just
yeah.
making that your habit, as I said, like, that's your new identity. So you're making that your new identity. I train every day, you know, sort of thing. So how did you feel going to the gym for the first time?
Well, I was very lean and didn't have much muscle on my body, so it was very intimidating. So I probably felt what it would feel like being a hugely overweight person entering the gym. I felt that skinny little undernourished person that was struggling with, you know, any strength. So that was a challenge, but it was just persistence and kept exercising. I'm still a very lean person, but I have an athletic body which I feel confident in now. Because a lot of people at the gym would love to be lean like me. Um, so it's now I feel confident enough to be at the gym and exist there without being put off by what other people think. But it definitely took time. And, you know, my advice will be is just to keep going. If you're overweight, underweight, just exercise, build, you know, build that body up. Because, you know, first time you rode a bike, you'd fall off and kept trying until you could ride. So let's just do that with ourselves. It's like keep training, keep going until you find a way. Whatever you're suffering with, there is an answer out there.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that stems from women a lot as well. Like, we think, oh, we're not good enough, we haven't done that, we beat ourselves down a lot. But I think, yeah, that's definitely a good analogy. Get on the bike and keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah, for sure,
Good. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay, cool. So you're good to wrap things up?
Yes, thank you,
Yep.
Sarah.
Okay. Thanks for the interview today. Really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people have got a lot of little tips that they can take away for their smoothies in the next weeks.
Yes, it is an absolute pleasure being on here. So thank you for interviewing me and allowing me to share my message. Um, there's a lot we can do with health, and as you know, with your new program, we've adapted some of my smoothies into your program, your 30-day challenge. So I think we're going to touch plenty of people this way. And for those who really want to expand and move forward faster outside of what we're doing here, get in contact with Sarah or myself and let us know that you're one of those people that are ready to go full steam ahead, and we will support you through that process. So thank you, Sarah,
Thank you.
and thank you everybody listening, and have an amazing day.
You too. Thank you.
See you later.